Good afternoon and welcome to round 14 of the 2023 World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship from Interlagos, Brazil. Our inaugural champions may have been crowned last time out at Road America, but there's still plenty of stories up and down the field to keep us interested to the end of the season. For example, a three-way fight for second place, a three-way fight in the Teams Championship for sixth, and who will avoid the wooden spoon? Can Costech or Potenza Esports score their first points of the season before the end? And if that wasn't enough, we're going to Interlagos and there's a threat of rain on the way. If that isn't exciting enough for you, I don't know what is. And to talk us through it with me, I'm once again joined by the excellent Robin Ciuman. Robin, good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Ash. Yeah, really looking forward to this race, one of the classic venues of Grand Prix racing. So really looking forward to this one. And the chance of rain really spices things up.
Absolutely, it does. And on that note, let's have a look at what the forecast is. As ever, this forecast is issued before each race based on the statistical data of the location in the respective month and is always prepared by a neutral persons. And as you can see, for both, rain shower possible in qualifying and the race. And I'm led to believe that that possibility is, it seems more likely than not, Robin.
Yeah, that is what we have been told by our weather information guys. I don't know.
The informant, as it were, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this should really spice things up. So yeah, it will probably only be a shower, but it's very likely that we'll see it.
Obviously, that is going to mess things up in terms of strategy and people's plans for the race. I mean, you know what it's like. Interlagos, when the weather hits, it can change things in an instant. So, as mentioned in the intro, there are quite a few stories still left. Let's have a look at the drivers' standings, and we will show you what those are. So, Yannis Walborn, last time his second place enough to crown him as the inaugural WMSC champion. The big fight, though, taking place is in second. Pascal Polans is currently leading the way, 5 points clear of Meshida and Pushka. Pushka is back today after missing out last time at Road America. Walborn has said he's going to turn supporting role to try and help Pascal secure second place in the championship. Pascal, of course, winning his first race of the season last time out. But Reuven Meshida has been on fine form. If it wasn't for the disconnect last time, he might have been up there still. But it's between him and Philip Pushka, and Pushka's back today. And ahead of qualifying starting, he's second fastest. So he is back in the mix. Further down, Lucas Murno looks almost nailed on to get fifth, but hopefully he'll be able to do that today at his home Grand Prix. And then in the Constructors' Championship, this is how things are looking. And as you can see, Holland Racing Team comfortably our inaugural champions. Optimal Esports and Epic Brasilia very much comfortable in second and third, with Miniti no longer racing. The question is, can Infernal Void score enough points to take fourth off them? Now, if Lucas Murno keeps scoring at the same rate he has been, he absolutely will. But you can see there's been a few dips this season, so it's not guaranteed. Then the big fight is behind them for sixth. SCMM, Beta Julia, and Scuderia Cesario all in with a chance of taking sixth. Then below them, obviously, unfortunately, Streamline Engineering dropping out earlier in the season. So can Costech indeed, and Potenza Esports score any points to get themselves into ninth? But both of them will want to try and get as best finishers as they can, even if they don't score points, to try and avoid being bottom of the table. So, plenty of stories. Now, I believe the qualifying session is just about to begin. So we will head out to the track. Plenty of things to talk about on and off the track today. But hopefully a good afternoon of racing in store. See the cars already queuing up and the lights go green. And I think that might be Pascal Polans leading them away out on track. Qualifying begins at Interlagos, Brazil. And it seems dry at the minute. but it is very dark. The timing screen showing rain 5%, but you can see they're out on the medium tyres at the minute. Also, this is Yanis that's led us out, I do apologise. And so we'll see if the rain comes and forces anyone onto the wet tyres. It's going to be really important if the rain does come that they get a lap in while the track is dry.
Yeah, this might be quite the opposite to how it usually is in these WMSC qualifying sessions, because usually we see slower lap times at the beginning, everyone taking it rather slow, kind of finding their... Oh, and we can really see the rain there in that shot. I think we were able to see some drops. Yeah, but it is very crucial to get a good lap time now, because you never know. As soon as they have to go on the wet or intermediate tires, there is no chance to improve the lap time. So yeah, we might see a bit of a different qualifying session today.
We'll see also how readily everyone runs over the curbs. Gives you an indication of how wet it is, because obviously it is getting wet, and already rain seems to be up to 15% on the radar. They're going to want to use those curbs less and less, because obviously trying getting traction on curbs in the wet is it's not really the best way to go. They're on board with Yanis Volborn, who's going to be the early pace setter. See how well everyone does. We've also got a few new names and returning names joining us this afternoon. We'll follow Yanis round to complete this first lap. In through Junkao. Really fighting there. The car sliding out wide, but now it's flat out all the way down to turns 14 and 15. Which I kind of don't really read as turns when you're flat out, but they are counted across the line. And it's a 1 minute 11 to get things started. Alexander Knezovic, Pascal Poland's immediately a 10th up, vital for him in his fight for second. But Ruben Mesheder into the 1 minute 10s. Bazi Carpeta, one of the returning names this afternoon, previously raced a few races for Scuderia Cesario, here today for Beta Giulia. And our other new name this afternoon is Maurizio Quescio for Potenza Esports. A debut for him this afternoon. No Mateus Machado today. They're driving the number 9 Potenza Esport car.
Very crucial right now. Philip Puschke, it says, is still in the pit lane despite the rain getting heavier and heavier. So this might be crucial for the fight for P2. Everyone has a lap time on board now of the competitors, so Mesheder and Poland's. And they're in first and second. And there now goes Philip Puschke. Only now is he leaving the pit lane, and he's on softs, as it looks like.
That is that's a fairly interesting call, it has to be said. And you can see that in almost every shot now, quite visibly, the rain still only reading at 50%. 15, sorry, just to be clear. We'll see what Philip can do, but he may have left it a little bit late.
I might be imagining things, but I'm pretty sure I saw him out. Maybe there was once again a connection issue or something and he had to rejoin. Not sure about that though. But that has been plaguing him in the last 2 races that he competed in. He was missing at Road America. But yeah, before that he had 2 DNFs.
And both caused disconnects. He was running well at Silverstone. Running okay. He was running okay in both races that he's disconnected from, but incredibly unlucky. So let's see what his pace is. Only the Senna S and the Retroposta split one at the end here. 8/10 down. He's having to very much nurse it through Descida de Largo. Power up the hill now. We're going to see how much he's tiptoeing around. Look at a good amount of grip there through turns 6 and 7. You can see he's having to very much tiptoe it through 8 and 9. Interesting to see where he manages representatively compared to everyone else. Power down through turn 11 towards Junkao. Will give us a split time, and he's 3.5 seconds down. So at the minute, that's going to put him outside the top 10 with this lap. Fortunately, the final sector is just the one turn and full throttle, so hopefully he's not going to lose too much more time, and he's not even going to bother finishing the lap. It's interesting. I don't know. It may only be a couple of places. I still think I'd have finished that lap and gotten out there. Looks like Reuven Meshedu is out on the Inters, so we'll see if see what they can do. And there's a couple now. Remco de Zoo, also coming out in the Inters. I remember Remco raced twice previously for Optimal Esports. He raced on their debut, qualifying 13th and finishing 13th. And then he managed to finish 13th again later in the season at Jerez, his third race. So Dylan Fisher not with us this afternoon, but good to see Optimal fielding 2 cars once again regardless.
Yeah, and I guess Reuven needs every support in that fight for P2 in the championship that he can get. And this is big shoes to fill for Remco, because Dylan was on the podium every time since the race in Hockenheim. So well, he's doing well right now, currently in third on the provisional grid. Ahead of Janis Wolborn.
Yeah, he's done a fine job there. And, this is looking at kind of the balance of performance across this track, as we've said a lot this season. Holland Racing Team set up their car for good straight line speed, but it's not quite as good on downforce as the Optimal car. And here, the only real place you've got for straight line speed is that run from turn 12 down to turn 1. Most of it, it's about the handling of the car. So Optimal well placed here. And again, a bit of a cycle up there for Remco on the Inters. But deciding against setting a flying lap.
Yeah, I guess what they're doing right now is also a bit of preparation for the race, because it might rain there as well. And yeah, I don't think that anyone expects to beat their previously set lap time on the slicks with the Inters, but a bit of reconnaissance and using the qualifying as a bit of further practice for the race as well.
Now, the radar is showing rain at 0%, and as you can see, there is no more rain on the shot. So, it looks like the shower has passed. The question is, will the track dry quick enough for times to improve? There might be a lifeline here for Philip Pushka. As you can see, Philip Feckler is out on the softs, and he's looking to go. And he sets, obviously, only on 14th. Obviously, Pushka not set a time. A little bit deep into the center S. Is he going to run straight into another flying lap? We will see. But others will probably be watching now. See if his time improves. When it's time to go again. I mean, to be fair, the more laps you run, the more fuel you burn off. So that's one incentive to be out on track. But the other is, if there's more cars out on track, it's going to dry that racing line a bit more and a little bit quicker. So it's going to give you a chance. Now, I'm sure the top 5 are perfectly happy where they are. But for everyone below that, they must be like, okay, let's see if we can get the track dry again, and maybe we've got another chance at improving our qualifying slot.
Yeah, and one to watch here as well. Of course, Philip Pushka, we expect a big improvement from him. He was up there in the practice sessions, but also someone to, as Philip Feckler goes the Kimi Räikkönen way there, but only to find out that road is closed. But yeah, Gustavo Frigoto was pretty strong in the practice sessions as well. He's pretty quick here around this track. Of course, his home track and home race here, as well as Lucas Murno. So watch these two as they try to maybe compete for a podium. We have seen Murno on the podium, of course, once before. He came very close in Portugal with only 1 lap to go. His car gave in. But yeah, they might be going for the very front here as well.
Rigoto, interesting enough, his best finish was 4th. So he's been incredibly close to a podium himself. He managed 4th in Portugal. So hope maybe today in Brazil it would be good to see if he can manage that. And obviously, when there's rain on the way, it could shake things up for sure. Now join Frigoto as he starts a flying lap. So second half of the session well underway. Less than 10 minutes to go. Still struggling for grip through the center S, having to fight the car a little bit there, mid-turn. Let's see how far he is when we hit the end of Sector 1. 8 tenths down. Still not quite there yet, but they keep pushing. He's got potential traffic up ahead, but not close enough to cause him too much issues yet. Car just hanging on through turn 6 and 7. Kota here taking it in second. To Pushka, who was taking it in third, but the track was much wetter at that point, so it's probably just trying to avoid spinning up the rears too much. Flying down to Zhongkao, the last big braking zone on the lap. He's 2.2 down after the middle sector, and his best lap is only 2.1 away from pole, so this is unlikely to be an improvement yet. He's going to get a little bit of tow, I imagine, down the start-finish straight. See what the lap is. The 1 minute 14. Oh, and we've just had a note from race control. Gonzalez Cativo getting a final warning for an incident with Philip Pushka. So that must be a blocking incident. We avoided any blocking penalties last time out of Road America, but slightly less space, slightly shorter lap here at Interlagos, so definitely have to keep an eye out for that. But Pushka green in the first sector, but still 7 tenths down. Middle sector, 2.1. So this isn't going to be like incredible, but it's going to at least get him further up the field as a Scuderia Cesario bails out the way. So is Pushka going to stay out? He is. He's going to head towards the line. Will this get him inside the top 10? No, just up one position, but still 7 minutes to go. The track's still drying. To find a way on those mediums. We join Alexander Knezovic, as we mentioned. 3 teams in the fight. 6th place in instructors, so Alexander Knezovic or Scuderia Cesario going to be very determined to get a result this afternoon.
And I think the last race at Road America, that was his strongest race of the season. He was competing for P4 against Lucas Murno. Ultimately, Knezovic finished in 5th, but he is determined to go one better here today. And yeah, helps Cesario in that fight for P6.
On a fine run of form, scoring points for every race that he has driven for Scuderia Cesario. And Maurizio Quercio in the wall there. I think that's probably just after turn 10, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. And I think it looks like he's struggling to get it in reverse, but he goes a bit uphill there. Well, that's interesting.
And back to the garage he goes. Quercio, though, 12th on his debut so far. I'm sure he'll be happy with that, but still looking at times improving. So, Yanis Volborn, 6 tenths down. So those gaps very much getting lower and lower in Sector 1, but considering Sector 1 is essentially just the center S in a straight, that is still a fair amount of time to be down. I do wonder if the track will dry out enough for there to be improvements at this rate.
Yeah, right now they all seem a bit far away from what they were able to do at the very beginning of the session. Capetta a bit quicker in the middle sector.
Holding in 13th. There's definitely space for maybe the cars outside the top 10 to improve. There's definitely lots more room there as Philip Feckler, Gonzalez Cativo holds and stays ninth. But yeah, for the top 8, don't really think there's much improvements to be had at the minute. To be getting out the way of oncoming traffic, on being very committed to getting out the way of the traffic there.
Yeah, but causing a bit of visibility issues.
Oh, there's quite a few cars having to try and duck out the way to avoid being given a grid drop penalty for causing blocking. Benton Reed are only 4 tenths down after Sector 1, so the track is definitely improving. I just wonder if it's not improving quick enough. Again, that middle sector, the twisty middle section of the track, the longest sector by far. Still 2.5 seconds away, and Daniel Benton Reader decides had quite enough of that.
But this surely is going to be an improvement for Philip Fekkeler.
A good run out of Junkao there, very nicely taken. Power down towards the line. How far up the grid is this going to take Philip Fekkeler? Up to 12th. Very good indeed. Not too bad this afternoon from Costech, 9th and 12th. If it's going to be a rain-affected afternoon, there is a chance at points there.
Yeah, Catilo came very close last time in Road America. 9th, that is their best finish so far this season. The top 8, of course, in the WMSC score points. So he was just one retirement of one of the guys ahead away from actually scoring that elusive first point for Costech. Oh, there is very busy on track and off track, as you can see in the background there. Another SCMM.
Pushka only 3 tenths down. This is going to be good news for Philip Pushka at least. I think he could at least get himself back into the mix. So only 3 tenths down after the first sector, but having to wrestle it through the middle sector, which is probably going to dry slightly less. But here we go. Let's see what the gap is as he comes to the end of sector 2. It's only 9 tenths of a second. Oh, and there is an improvement there. Murno. Oh, and is the track suddenly about to come to life at the pivotal moment? Pushka, DRS open, heading towards the line. Volborn in the meantime up into second. Philip Pushka goes 7th. And keep your foot down, head down again, and there could be another chance here for Philip Pushka. I feel like the grip is coming back.
Oh, and I believe that traffic will be an issue, because the one that sets his lap time the latest will be the one with the best track conditions.
Yeah, there might be some jostling here. Rogoto in the meantime up to 4th.
Woolborn into second, just 0.03 away from Meshida.
Join Ruven Meshida, who might be timing his lap quite well here. In the meantime, Lucas Murno. Once again, the Infernal Void team in their dark mode livery. Charging towards the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It is. 3rd. Splits the Holland Racing team cars. Times are going to start dropping massively. Philip Pushka only 2 tenths down coming out of the final corner. He heads towards the line. He's going to cross the line. If he goes for another fast lap, this will be his last one. It's a purple final sector. Up to 3rd. Vital. Benton Reader into 8th. Qualifying coming alive now in the last minute. Here comes Gonzalez Cativo. What can he do for Costech? Cross the line. To 9th. He's been there for most of the session. He reclaims it now. Everyone going to have to keep the focus, because now the track is going to be at its driest. So if you're crossing the line now, even if you're coming to the end of a flying lap, just go straight into another one. You have to. And it's a purple final sector for Vergoto in 6th.
Knazovic up to 3rd, just 600s behind Meshida's pole time. Lucas Murner purple in the first sector.
Is he going to cross the line in time to maybe have another crack at it as well?
I think he is. He has the best track conditions now. 4th. Wow. The top 4 inside of 1/10. Yanis Woolborn did not have a good middle sector. Daniel Benton Reader purple in the middle sector. That is crazy now.
Oh, but Woolborn still got quicker. So provisional pole for Volborn, but Meshida is still on the lap. Here
Pushka
comes
only
Daniel
fourth.
Benton-Reader. So, now here comes Meshida.
Oh, that's gotta be massive. That is surely gonna be pole.
And it is into the 1 minute 9s. Here comes Knezovic, already third. Is there going to be improvement? Could he get front row? No, not quite. What an incredible pole lap that is from Ruben Meshter. In the meantime, Philip Pushka, finally he's done, he hasn't improved. Here comes Quesio towards the line. Remains 13th.
Now where's Lucas Murner on track? He was the last one to cross the La Polens into the front row.
Oh, and that's vital, this fight for second. So is Murno still going? I think Murno might be heading towards the line now. He's bailed out of it. And that is, I think that's everyone now. Everyone has indeed completed their flying laps. Well, it looked like the session had been decided early, but the track came back at the very end, and Ruben Meshida with a fine lap indeed. That middle sector where obviously his car is going to be incredibly strong, drying up, going a second quicker in the middle sector alone, and he qualifies on pole position with a 1 minute 9.5. Pascal Polens fighting him for second place, manages to get on the front row with him. Yanis Volborn just behind. Alexander Knezovic helping Scuderia Cesari win their fight for sixth. That's fourth, incredible. Philip Pushka recovers from what might have been a tactical error not getting out early and is fifth. So don't count him out, especially if the rain comes. A good downforce car. Lucas Murno in sixth and Fragoto in seventh. The Brazilians together. Daniel Benton-Reader starting in eighth, just ahead of Remco de Zoo standing in for Dylan Fisher. While Gonzalez Cativo is 10th for Costech. Aaron Curtis is 11th in the other Infernal Void car. Philip Feckler in 12th. Mauricio Quercio is 13th on his debut. A decent result for him. Bazi Carpetta returns to racing with Beta Julia with 14th, and Victor B at the back for SCMM in 15th. So, if that was a microcosm of what the race might be in terms of the changeable conditions, then I think we could be in for a very interesting race indeed. Join us in around 10 minutes' time, where we'll go lights out at Interlagos. Welcome back to round 14 of WMSC 2023 from Interlagos, Brazil. And, well, the threat of rain is no longer a threat. As you can see from your pictures right now, we've had a wet warm-up, and it looks like we've got a bit of a wet track, quite a few puddles there. And we're expecting more throughout the race as we wait for the cars to join up to the track, and they will begin the formation lap shortly. And then we'll get underway. And here we go. So, as they complete their formation lap, let's talk you through the results of a rain-affected qualifying. And it was very interesting, only came alive towards the very end. It looked like the track was too wet for anyone to make any improvements. And all of a sudden, the track dried up in the last couple of minutes, which means on pole position, and the man who timed his final lap, has to be said pretty well, is Reuven Meshida. He starts on the front row alongside Pascal Polens, the two main protagonists, it has to be said, at the minute, fighting for that second place in the championship. Champion Yanis Volborn in third, alongside Alexander Knežević, a vital Scuderia Cesario place in the constructors. Filip Puško in fifth, also in the fight for second, has a bit of work to do alongside Brazilian Lucas Murno. Brazilian Gustavo Fragotto alongside Daniel Bentonreader in row 4. Remco de Zeeuwen for Dylan Fisher alongside Gonzalez Cativo on row 5. Aaron Kurt alongside the other Costec of Philip Veckler in row 6. Debut from Maurizio Quescio in 13th. Barzia Carpetta returning for Roberto Giulia in 14th. Victor B in 15th. And David Jumt, who did not take part in qualifying, seems to be starting at the back for Epic Basilia. Much better than last time. He started 26 laps late at Road America, but here, looks like he's here join us from the beginning, sort of, if not qualifying. So we'll see how David Junt gets on in the second Epic Basilia. Remember, Epic Basilia also in that fight. Sorry, no, they're not in that fight. They're third, and comfortably third, it has to be said. Sorry. So, despite the track looking wet, we have quite a mix of tyres. Only one person on wet tyres, Barzia Carpetta on inters, most on mediums and super softs. Let's see where the grip is. Everyone is lined up. Oh! A slight lag issue there for Filip Puško, but hopefully he's okay. And we now wait for the start sequence.
Knežević is gone.
Oh, this isn't looking good. Well, the revs come up, the lights come on, and it's a green light. We're underway. No Knežević.
Oh, good start for Polens.
And Polens is up the inside into the center S. They go side by side. Polens gets the grip down there ahead, and Volborn's now got the traction around the outside of Reuven Meshida. And the Hollands have jumped Meshida. An incredible start, but there's going to be a chance to fight back as we head down Retroposta. And Pascal Polens gently into the lead on Meshida, almost banging into the back of Volborn there. And then Murno trying to struggle for grip. And we watch the stragglers come through now. Victor B heading up the rear, and Alexander Knežević seems to be out at the beginning. What a blow that is for Scuderia Cesario in their fight this afternoon. But now Reuven Meshida having to fight off Lucas Murno as we head through turn 8 for the first time. At the minute, Murno looking on the attack of Meshida. We were expecting this car to be a little bit more stable and grippy in these sorts of conditions, but the Team Holland car's off to a stunning start, and Pascal Polens now leads away through Juncao for the first time. Power down, and what a start that is for Holland Racing Team. Meantime, Lucas Murno with a fine start indeed. Murno starting 6th on the grid, up to 4th. One of the beneficiaries of what I'm guessing is Alexander Knežević disconnecting. We've gone through most of the season without disconnects. There seems to be a flurry of them towards the end of the season as everyone's sliding through the center S.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I wonder if Alex will join at a later point. Just as Meshida did, he rejoined, of course, in the last race, but now he already would be a lap down on everyone.
A real shame for him, and indeed Scuderia Cesario, as Mauricio Quercio struggling to find the grip. It's remarkable to think that, there's only two people out there. So one person out there, I should say. Oh, it looks like we've got two. Sorry, Frigoto is showing us inters. That's not what it's showing us on our timing screen. But it looks like there's only a couple of inters, and the rain is looking pretty heavy, it has to say right now. 5% rain. You can see it on our shot there, but everyone making the mediums work in it. But it'll be interesting to see if being on the Indies is the best thing. As Pascal setting a new fastest time. And there was a warning there for Remco de Zoo, clearly having some form of altercation with Gustavo Frigoto. Frigoto ahead of Remco.
Oh, there is Knezovic. Sorry to interrupt there. He just left the pit lane. 2 laps down now.
Oh, well, it's again similar to Ruben last time out. I'm really glad he's decided to come back out and try and race. It's a wet afternoon. You never know what could happen. So good for him to get back out there and try and make something this afternoon. He's going to have to, unfortunately, just dive out the way of everyone at the minute, coming out of the pits at probably the worst possible point. So he just stays clear of everyone. And it is a PC crash, confirmed as for Alexander Knezovic. Such a shame for him. It's a long way to go. The rain is pouring in Interlagos. There is still very much a chance for him to make something of this afternoon. And he's come back out on the mediums. In the meantime, though, Ruben Meshida seems to be closing in on the back of Yannis Volbun. And DRS still active in these conditions. They both all have push to pass as well. Pascal Ponon's going quicker, and he goes deep into the center S, and he can't get it stopped. It was a very ambitious move, but not enough grip out there to make it stick. And they're all doing this, it seems, on the medium tyres. They are throwing it round out there with a confidence that I certainly wouldn't have in these conditions.
And we have seen that in the race in Canada. There we also had a rain-affected race. But it was very, very long. It was possible for the front runners to run in those mediums, with the slick tires on, when others were already pitting for the intermediates. So it looks like that is the case here as well today. And it also looked like Ruben had a really, really weak opening lap, so there were some issues for him. At one point he was almost overtaken by Lucas Murno. So yeah, this is now a difficult situation for him now in the fight for P2.
And we spoke to Yannis and Pascal last time out after they secured the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, and they said, Yannis said, my role now is to help Pascal try and get P2, and at the minute he's in the perfect position to try and help, because Pascal is now opening out the gap over 2 seconds to his teammate, and Volbon can just try and block Meshida, but Meshida, it's obviously hard to try and really make a big aggressive move when the conditions are still as they are. 15% rain on the radar at the minute, and yeah, this is not the ideal start after such a good lap from Ruben Meshida. He's got some work to do now. And Lucas Murno sitting just behind, waiting to pick up the pieces for anything to happen. Philip Pushka in 5th. Daniel Benton, Reeder, Gustavo Frigoto, and Remco de Zoo in the other Optimal car, making up the points positions. But look out for the 2 Costec cars of Kativo and Fekla. Costec yet to score points. They are 9th and 10th, right on the edge of points at the minute. So keep an eye out for them. In the meantime, David Yun, who didn't participate in qualifying, starting at the back, already up to 11th. So lots of movers and shakers in the bottom part of the order. Time. Ruben Meshida charging forward. DRS open, but not quite close enough yet. Remember, the big strength of that Holland Racing Team car is its straight line speed, so it has a good bit of defense and getting a little bit sideways, but holding on. In the meantime, Gonzalez Kativo in the pits, Aaron Curtis in the pits. Is that damage? Is that tyres? I wonder what that is. They started So Curtis on the mediums, Kativo on the softs. And is that Inters? That's Inters going on. So they're going to roll the dice early on Inters. And why not when you're at that point in the field? If you feel like the grip's coming away from you, go for it. It's...
Now that is quite interesting from Kativo's perspective, because they were on the brisk of the points, but that seems like quite a big gamble, because he seemed to be fine pace-wise. They were all stuck behind the Benton reader. I think they were pretty close. Yeah.
Maybe he's just feeling like if he can get in clear air and get the Inters turned on, there's a chance at an undercut here potentially. You know, and the hope is that obviously the weather persists or gets worse, and those Inters will remain the tyre of choice.
Wow, there is a lot of spray now.
There is quite a lot, and Remco de Zoo seems to be back ahead of Gustavo Fragotto in behind this fight. But Meshida just not seeming able to make anything happen just yet.
Pushke is also very close to Lucas Murno. Oh yeah, there they go. Pushke attacking.
Oh,
contact and half spin for Philip Pushke. Now that is another incident that Race Control will have a look at.
Very well held by Philip Pushka. I feel like there might be a little bit of a... Oh, and that's Benton Reader off. And that's a big off there indeed. I wonder if anything caused that in particular, or if it is just the lack of grip. But in the meantime, Kativo already up past his teammate. And actually, I think Feckler's on the Inters as well. Feckler's in.
But I think there was just a switch of position, so Feckler came out ahead of Kativo with his pit stop. I think he was just ahead when I checked, just before you said that. So yeah, this will be quite interesting now, as I think the Inters might slowly become the tire to be on right now. This is what happened to Daniel Benton Reader.
Oh, he's just got on the curb on the inside, and yeah, rain's up 30%. This might be where we see a flurry of activity. I think the people now who are on the Inters might just have made the right call for picking up some cheap places here. We'll see how long the leaders wait, but David Yunt in the meantime charging up. Frigotto in the pits now, lap 8. Also, I presume, for Inters. But we'll see who's going to roll the dice. And to be honest, I'm surprised Meshida isn't considering it to try and maybe get himself from out behind Yanis Volborn.
Oh, unusual spot to try something, but it looked like Ruben was side by side with Yanis for a minute. Yanis almost losing the car, and that is an easy position gain for Ruben, but he comes back at it. Oh, well done by Yanis.
What a fight this is, though. Who's got the better traction on exit? And Volborn's managed to hold on. What a move, but in the meantime, Meshida's going to come back. No! Volborn holding around the outside. Well, an incredible recovery from Yanis Volborn there. Hats off. What a move that was. And I wonder if that was a bit of a dummy there. But now, Meshida right behind.
Hole into the pits from the lead.
Oh, and that's a big decision there, but they go side by side through the center S. Oh. And Volborn still hanging on, but he goes deep on exit. Meshida can't get the power down. Volborn hangs on and takes the lead of the race. But so many going in the pits now. We've got Pushka in the pits, is also going on Inters. Big move. Kopeta also in the pits, but had started on the Inters. Knezovic also onto the Inters now.
Oh, another moment for Volborn. He was off track there. Volborn struggling a bit more in these conditions than Meshida is, as it seems from the outside here.
Do an incredible job to rate each other and just keep it pretty clean. Forward we go.
Okay, the timing screen was wrong. I thought for a second that David Yunt might be in the lead of those that have already pitted, but he is not. Timing screen just played a trick on me.
Oh, and Meshida now right on the back as we come up towards Junkao. He's going to wait, though, tuck him behind. But looking at all the people that are coming in now for Inters, these two are surely thinking, right, when do we go? Because we're going to start losing time. Oh, and Zhu's ahead of Murno. That doesn't like an instant. Oh, and Volbutton's gone in, and Reuven Meshida's going to stay out. This is a vital lap now for Reuven Meshida. He needs to try and have a quick lap without keeping it on the track on his medium tyres. And there was a warning there for Filip Puška, final warning for an unsafe release versus Alexander Knežević. Most of the field now on Inters, apart
Penalty
from the top...
for Woolborn!
Oh! That must be pit lane speeding. And that changes the complexion of his role in this afternoon of trying to help his teammate. Oh my goodness.
And whilst this is all happening, I'm trying to figure out which actually is the fastest tire to be on, and it is really hard to tell. Remco de Zeus' last lap was 1:23.4. David Junt on the softs, 1:23.3. These two were the fastest laps, faster than any on the intermediates, except for Gustavo Frigoto, who had a 1:22.3. So it's still pretty level, but yeah. As soon as the track gets just that little bit wetter, the Inter is definitely the way to go.
So that's going to be interesting now. Is Meshida going to go straight in?
Now, penalty for Kopata as well. Now, Meshida also has the issue that he is on the medium. Now, his last lap now shows also at 1:23.3 since he's out of that battle with Yannis Woolborn. So he's able to go the same lap times that de Zeus and Junt are doing on the softs.
I think they've stayed out as well. I think they're all still going out the front as Murno in. Murno had already stopped.
Is this now going back onto the slicks?
Surely not. Rain is still holding in terms of the radar predictions. Oh. We keep an eye out on this.
That's a pretty lengthy pit stop. Maybe it's damage even.
It must be damage. I'm guessing something's happened to Lucas Murno. We'll see if we can figure out if there was anything that happened to Murno there. But in the meantime, Gonzalez Cativo back up in 9th from before when he stopped. It looks like they've got the back markers of Quercio. Quercio getting out the way. He's on the back of Benson Reader again. So despite all of the changing in pit stops, they've come back out 8th and 9th as they were before it all started. But at the minute, Pascal Polens is holding a 10-second gap to the leaders, and he's past Junt in the pits. So we'll see where Junt filters back out, but at the minute, Pascal Polens is running 2 seconds a lap quicker than Meshida and Remco de Zeus. And Remco de Zeus, I think, might be in the pits as well. Evo in.
It doesn't show the Zeus in the pits though. Might have been an off-track excursion.
Oh, yes. Remco is on the soft, so maybe Remco has gone off the track at some point. Why has Cativo come back in for a second stop? Was he going full wets, I wonder? That's interesting. But again, Cativo from 9th on the verge of points. Oh, no,
that's another set of Inters, so presumably damage as well. So it's really hard to keep track of everything that's going on now. But now
we've lost Victor B as well now. So I mean, we did say there was a potential for madness in Interlagos with the weather, and it's delivering. So Philip Feckler at the minute trying to keep Aaron Curtis out. Remco de Zeus, I think looks like he's just rejoined from another off. He's dropped to 5th. I think he's left it way too late on those soft tyres. And in comes Remco de Zeus to finally change them. So the only person now out on dry tyres is Reuven Meshida in the lead of the race. And that gap has gone down from 10 seconds to under 7 in the last few laps. I think Reuven Meshida's tried to gamble in the hope that maybe the weather's going to come back to him on these tyres, because he's doing a fine job driving it, but he's obviously not as quick as the guys on the Inters.
Yeah, this is really the thing. If you commit to that sort of strategy and to that sort of gamble, it is hard to get out of there. And yeah, he would come out if he stops now in P5 behind Gustavo Frigoto, behind Pushka. Woolborn, he still has a penalty to serve, so he will drop out of there.
Philip Feckler, Philip Feckler had managed to come into 8th place, but sliding wide, and Aaron Curtis now takes that last points position, and Kostek being kept out of the points by the finest of margins at the minute.
Oh, they were just inside the points and just out of them now again, but still a long race to go, and still a lot of chaos that will definitely happen. And look how hard it is to get on the throttle in these conditions.
Last comment on the stream from Super Paco. I like the chaos. So do we. But my lord, trying to keep up with it is something else indeed. Every second there is something else going on, and you know what? I don't think we'd have it any other way at Interlagos.
So, yeah. On the timing sheet, says Gonzalez Castillo is on the wets indeed. So that second stop might have been for the wets.
But interestingly enough, Remco de Zoo...
He is!
So
we have every tire from slicks on Ruben Meshida's car. Remco de Zoo, it shows as soft as well. Yeah, we have every tire available on the grid right now. That is crazy.
The fact that Remco de Zoo's come in and decided to put soft tyres back on is insane. But, well, Gonzalez Cativo seems to have the run on the exit here. But that is a back marker.
That was Quershow.
So we won't know. Meshida is in, though. And, well, we'll see. We'll see if the other Optimal car also opts to stay on a dry tyre now. And here comes Volborn in for a very extravagant stop in the pit box. But here's Yanis Volborn to serve the penalty. And, Meshida just gets out ahead. That is vital for his race. And it's full wets for Ruben Meshida.
Well, he's keeping up with the gambling, so that is risky as well. But if it works, he will look like an absolute hero here.
Absolutely. If the weather stays the way it is, he will have saved himself a stop and be on the right tyre. So we'll keep an eye on Gonzalez Cativo's lap times on the wet as well. But obviously in just over a lap's time, we'll have a reference for Ruben Meshida as well. Rejoining in 4th, Gustavo Frigoto, the Brazilian, for SCMM, up in 3rd at the minute. You know, a lot to be said for just keeping your nose clean this afternoon, keeping it on the track. Just have as few pit stops as possible, and you might find yourself in a very good position indeed.
And this is now a very good indication to see whether the wet or the intermediate works better, because Meshida and Wilborn are so close together.
Obviously, he's got Frigoto just there as well. So we'll see. Oh, and he's still struggling to get the power down, but see what Ruben Meshida can do. Alexander Knezovic up to 14th after disconnecting at the start. Hopeful maybe of a safety car. Bunch things up together later on. But we join... and there's a better Julia just off the track there.
That is Carpetta. Yeah.
But Volborn is tucked up right behind. Both of them, as you can see, struggling for grip, trying to get the power down out of Desida de Largo. At the minute, there's no... they seem about evenly matched. They're both slowly just sidling up to Gustavo Frigoto, but there doesn't seem to be a massive grip advantage either way at the minute. Big question is, what is the weather going to do next? Radar suggesting the weather has dropped from 30 to 15%. Is the rain about to move away from Reuven Meshida? While the wet tyres are working, he has got to make this work. Got to try and get some moves done.
And if that forecast is right, that is very bad news indeed for Reuven Meshida, because instead of saving himself a pit stop, he will then have to do an extra pit stop, because as soon as the track gets a little bit drier, he will have to come in for Inters.
Oh, and that's that's an excellent bit of driving from both of them to stay away from each other. Good effort from Volborn, but well held there by Meshida. But he just seemed to be struggling. I feel like now Volborn is getting closer and closer. Is he going to look down the end of the Retroposta into the Interlagos? No, he backs out of that. Gustavo Frigoto just ahead. Very happy to see them scrapping in his mirrors. He will just drive away at the minute, holding on to that podium spot. But Volborn now sensing there's an opportunity here to maybe get back past Reuven Meshida after serving that penalty.
That now really looks like Meshida is on the wrong tires. Because this looks like it's only a matter of time that Volborn slips past.
And we know the straight line speed of the Holland team car just needs to get a good exit out of Ciuman. I think he will have the run down into the CNRS for sure. Forward we go, but that seems like a good exit from Reuven Meshida. They've gotten a lot closer to Gustavo Frigoto over that run, but... Oh, no, so that's not... Knežević, apologies. Oh, that's an incredible move to the inside from Volborn. Very brave indeed, but it's worked. As Meshida goes a little bit deep into one, and Yannis Volborn is back ahead, and Meshida now is going to be so frustrated. It was worth a gamble, but the weather seems to be pulling away. Track starting to dry. In the meantime, Pascal Polens is having quite a calm afternoon. He was the fastest man in the dry, and so currently he is the fastest man in the wet. Only him and Lucas Murno are lapping currently in the 122s. Murno currently running in 10th, and not too far away from points as it stands, but has a couple of cars, one of them being his teammate, if he wants to get back in the points. There's still plenty of twists and turns, especially if the track dries enough. There's going to be at least one more round of stops. We then don't know if it's going to stick or twist. Will it dry? Will it go wetter? We're really unsure. All the forecast said was chance of showers. And we've had showers. That's no one can argue that.
You're absolutely right. We haven't even seen 20 laps of this race, and yeah, already so much happened, and I think it won't stop for the rest of the race. This is now Lucas Murno all over the back of Philip Fekela, and I think this is also only a matter of time. Towards the center as they go, Lucas Murno dives down the inside, and this looks pretty straightforward as something can go in these conditions, but no, Philip Fekela touches the right rear of Lucas Murno. They barely hold it together, so well done, especially well done to Lucas Murno to hold that. Remco de Zoo now getting involved in the action. Gonzalez Cativo into the pits again, so he will probably change back to the Inters. That gamble did unfortunately not pay off for Kostek.
Well, I think Fekela there, well within his right to try and fight back, but I think it was a half-hearted look at the inside. But fortunately, I think Fekela almost tried to bail out of it towards the end, and Murno held it. And now, as you say, he's got Remco de Zoo and Gonzalez Cativo there with a penalty. I wonder if that's pit lane speeding, as he's mentioned, just into the pits, and as he rightly predicted, onto the Inters. And I think someone else doing that exact same pattern is going to be Reuven Meshida. The gambles on the wet not working. This is going to be a switch back to Inters for sure. He's already lost 2 seconds, Yannis Volborn, before coming into the pits. And out comes Riva Meshida. Inter's strapped on. In the meantime, Remco De Zeeuw, the big outlier of the afternoon, has yet to put on a set of wet tyres. And currently running in 11th. So we'll see how this goes. Oh, dear me. Right across the curb on the inside of the Senna S there. Currently trying to get a move done on Philip Feckler, both equally struggling for grip. As I think still just Murno just ahead of them. Up to the inside. Oh, they go side by side outside Interlagos. Drag race up the hill. Into turn 6. Remco De Zeeuw round the outside on dry tyres. Super softs, no less. And into the top 10. Well, that's... I mean, I don't fully understand why he's on the super softs, but he's making it work. And still plenty of time to get in the points from here. We'll see how this goes for him.
I was pressing F5 like crazy on the live timing that we have to see if that is not some sort of issue, but apparently it is not. We can see it in the live images as well. Remco is running on the softs, and he's not doing too bad right now.
No, it'll be interesting to see now he's in clear air what the lap times are going to be like for him. Now he's in clear air. Next car up the road is Lucas Murno. And is that him coming up to his teammate as well? I think it might be. The two Infernal Void cars. Lucas Murno here, potentially the subject of some controversy off-field. We may remember early in the season it was announced that Lucas is leaving Infernal Void Racing at the end of the season, and it was announced that he was likely to be joining the... Oh, and it's a straight switch there between teammates. Aaron Curtis ducking out of the way to allow Lucas Murno to go and see if he can press further into the points. Still might be an opportunity for a double points finish this afternoon for the team. But nice choreographed bit of teamwork there as Murno already starting to charge away from his teammate. But yes, Murno leaving Infernal Void at the end of the season, looking at going to the Brazilian team that's joining next year, Bravo Snowschatten. However, announced this afternoon that actually will be driving for Scuderia Cesario next season. So whether we're going to get an Oscar Piastri style, without my knowledge, an announcement has been released. It seems like Lucas Murno will not be joining up with the Brazilian team. We're going for Scuderia Cesario.
There was a very, very big moment there. Quercio almost taking out, I don't know what that car was ahead. That looked almost like, I think Juan Montoya and Jos Verstappen had a similar moment at exactly that corner where Verstappen... Oh, and that looks...
Oh, just struggling. He seems to be slipping about on the runoff there. We'll get a replay of that. I'm glad you caught that. I just saw a car fly off the end. In the meantime, Remco De Zeeuw on the super softs, already on the back of Aaron Curtis. Can Curtis try and keep De Zeeuw behind them to allow Murno some space to get clear towards the final braking zone? Cowan immediately, De Zeeuw just straight up the inside. The confidence on those soft tyres is superb. And on the radar, rain is down to 5%. Are the tyres about to come back? And in comes Curtis. It'll be interesting to see what tyres they decide to move on to. Before that, though, replay, Quercio into the seat of the lock. Oh, and that's a better Julie without a wing there.
Indeed it was. That was the number 8, if I saw that correctly. So that should be Copetta.
Goodness, and very big accident. And all of a sudden, a flurry of pit stops. So we've also got Feckler into the pits as well. Copetta into... Curtis has been given a penalty. Again, that might be pit lane. Seems to be quite a few pit lane related penalties this afternoon. Doesn't seem like it's track limits. It's always when cars are in the pits we're seeing penalties get issued, but Petter now getting the car repaired. And interestingly enough, Curtis back out on Inters, I believe. Feckler also out on Inters. So, not move. I thought this might be some early risks for the dry tyres, having seen the progress of Remco de Zoo, but it's not. So that might, if the track does dry, that might unfortunately be a bad call. They might need to make an extra pit stop.
Yeah, indeed. That is interesting to watch right now, because the lap time of Remco de Zoo, his last lap was 1:21.2. The only car that is faster than him is his teammate Ruben Meschede with a 1:20.6. So we might be approaching the crossover point, and there goes Remco de Zoo. Now he is pretty close to Lucas Murno, and Murno is rather one of the quicker drivers here in the field. So I think this is really now an indicator that the dry tires, especially the soft, which is probably easier to get to temperature in these conditions, but they might actually be the tire to be on right now.
And surely Remco de Zoo is going to be he's got to be feeding this to Ruben Meschede, because Meschede is now 36 seconds back from Poland, and obviously took a risk as the rear wheel and the front wing of Remco de Zoo make contact there through turn 10. But surely, and Meschede is in. Meschede is in now. Is this going to be for dry tyres? Surely this has to be a roll of the dice. He's made one risk this afternoon to try and go to the wets. It hasn't worked. This might be the move. And we have a virtual safety car.
Big news.
While Meschede is in the pits, that's going to be helpful to kind of not save some time. So...
Oh, look, sorry to interrupt there. That's going to be interesting at the pit exit, and Meschede comes out behind de Zoo and Murno. There he is, behind his teammate now. That should not be an issue. Lucas Murno, on the other hand, might be an issue, and this is now the opportunity for everyone ahead of them. Oh, and it was a Kostek that was standing there causing that virtual safety car. Kativo. What a shame for him. Qualifying went so well for him, starting in P10. Now he already had 4 pit stops, and that might be the end of this race for him.
And on the verge of points a couple of times. Yeah, this might be it. I believe it is virtual safety car. We're not getting any anything on the layout at the minute to say that we're on what is I think it's a code 80 it comes up as. But as you can see, it's prompted a flurry of activity. Many cars in the pits now, obviously trying to take advantage of that. Here is Gonzalez Cativo. Is it going to be a touch on the curb? It is onto the curb. Tries to get the power down. That's a big hit. Oh, and collects a better Julia as well. I can't believe there's no damage to that better Julia. That Carpetta potentially collected.
Yeah, it was Corpetta, and then the car was actually still going for Cativo. Now it's looked like when he tried to spin it round, he looks like he's stuck on the curb.
Just beached. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The minute it still shows green flag on our timing screen. Oh, here we go. Safety car.
Safety car means full safety car, though. So has it been upgraded now?
I don't know. We've not had the call from race direction. So I am very much confused. But it seems like Pushka is... Oh. No.
No, not again. Okay.
Oh, thank God for that. Dear me.
We had this a couple of times for... Okay.
So in goes Pushka. Poland's now re-inherits the lead. Obviously, this has come at a perfect time for him to get his stop done and essentially not lose out. Most people, I think, as it seems, going onto the dry tyres. Rain down to 0%, but obviously the track's still wet. So as long as it doesn't rain... Oh, but Philip Pushka's on the Inters there. I wonder if that might be a poor call for him. The track is still wet, but I think it is going to start drying up.
Oh, that's gonna be very close with Frigoto. Frigoto is past Pushke. Frigoto up to second. And sorry, we caused a bit of confusion there. A virtual safety car in the context of WMSC is actually what is considered to be like a real safety car, just without the safety car. So the race leader bunches everyone up behind him. We confused it with the slow zone. So I
Of
think we
course.
had that in Monza, where everyone has to push the pit limiter button. So yeah, we okay. Now, very good news for Curtis and Fekela. They have now been told that they can unlap. Of course, Knezovic as well, so every lap car can get 1 lap back right now.
This is, a chance for Knezovic that doesn't, after his disconnect, put him right back in it, but only 1 lap down and on the tail of the field at least. But yeah, so we're going to have the field bunched up, but interestingly, Frigoto still on the Inters. Benton Reader still on the Inters. Everyone else, by the looks of it, all the way down to Carpetta, they've gone for dry tyres, a mixture of mediums and super softs. So it'll be interesting to see how the track develops. Obviously, we don't know if that's it for the rain, but it is not raining currently. As you can see, the track, though, still damp.
Okay, now this has put Meshida back into P5. Pushka lost a position on... Oh, Pushka on the Inters as well, as it seems.
It's interesting
That
because
has
we
changed.
saw Pushka leave and it had the green wall tyres on.
It is the green wall tire, so...
But our timing screen currently saying medium, so that might just be another glitch. But so it does seem like he is on those Inters. So yeah, an interesting call to go in and make that change.
David Jund lost out through that safety car big time. He was running in the points, now he's out of them. Remco Dizou, he must have been in the pits, yeah, as well. He was ahead of Meshida before that safety car call. We saw Meshida come out behind Murno and Dizou, so they both made it into the pits. Again, Remco Dizou with the second pit stop of the day, the third set of soft tires. He is just gonna go to the end on them.
The fact he's just driven all afternoon on dry tyres in these conditions has been it's been incredible. Now from this point we're only on lap 28 of 70. So even if there is no more rain to the end of the race, I would be surprised if they're going to make these dry tyres last. So there's going to be more pit stops regardless. But it's interesting to note that obviously Meshta has gone for the super softs. He clearly has gone aggressive because he wants to clear Volborn. And of course the guys on the Inters. He's still looking to try and finish ahead of Poland's in the Drivers' Championship. So yeah, it will be interesting to see because that might be a good short-term gain, but how long can he make those super softs last? Will he need an extra stop, or will he try a super softs and mediums to the end?
Yeah, to be honest, as the weather looks right now, I think Meshida might even move up to third again. Okay, what's going on now? Benton Reed first, third. Okay, interesting. So they are, and I think what's happening now is that Benton Reader, he was on the Inter still. He is now going on to the dry tires as well, because I think that everyone that is on the Inters now is on the wrong tire. The rain has stopped now, so that I think means Frigoto will have to pit as well. Okay, what is going on now? This is
Has Pushka decided to go in? I'm not sure.
Alexander
Knezovic.
first.
Alexander Knezovic has now set the new fastest lap while catching up to the safety car line. A good question. Why is Philip Pushka in first? He's on the mediums. Has he stopped?
No, he hasn't. So I think that was the graphic glitch that we were talking about.
Oh
but
my word!
Okay, now even the graphics are confused by that. I was joking with the race director before this race to please call out the right winner at the end of this race if it rains, to not have an awkward situation like in 2003 when they called. Okay, Capetta should pass the field now as well, is the call from race direction. Yeah, so
you just noticed Quercio has been disqualified. Just to add another question into things, just to, we've lost Quercio for some reason. I mean, my word. Interlagos, just doing Interlagos things this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely.
So, we remain under safety car. Fragoto is clearly going to stick with these Inters. He's going to keep track position over tyres for now. As we have a better Julia.
That is Capetta moving past
there
everyone.
We go.
That was the call.
We're going to be going probably at least another lap while we wait for Carpetta to come round. So, apologies for the graphical glitch earlier. So, Filip Puška did make the right call. So, good position for him to be in with just Fragoto ahead on the Inters. The question is, can he keep up with Poland? Pascal Polans. Polans has been superb this afternoon, has to be said. Nailed the start, has been on the right tyre, and has just had solid pace. The question is now everyone's bunched back up and seemingly on the right tyres. Can Puška challenge? Can Meshida make moves in the super softs? He's got to get past Volborn again. And then Remco de Zoo on the super softs, just behind his teammate. Could he make some moves as well? So much could happen on this restart. This is going to be very interesting indeed. But considering that we just saw Alexander Knežević set the fastest lap of the race by 0.8 of a second, just as he was trying to catch up to the end of this safety car queue, it does suggest the track is now drier than it has been all race long.
Yeah, and I'm afraid Gustavo Frigoto, once we restart this race, might just be a moving chicane because he's on the wrong tires. And he still has the chance to pit now and then at least be able to somewhat close back up to the field if he pits now, because we have not got any call that there will be a restart right now. But if he pits once we get underway, he will have these 20 seconds to catch up that you lose with a pit stop.
Yeah, it's damage limitation. It sucks to have to kind of come in from second, but you're right. It's going to be much worse if we get up under racing speed to then lose all those places on track and then have to stop. His only recourse is he's going to try and stay on the Inters long enough so he only has to one stop. And then hopefully he can run to the end. But the thing is, from here, I reckon most of them were only going to want to one stop from now to the end. So I don't know if that's even going to help.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think the only hope for Frigoto is maybe he has some knowledge that we don't have. Rain on the way.
Oh. And safety car race has just been called by race direction, but Knežević has made the call to come in. He was on the medium tyres anyway. What is this? Did he get given a penalty we're not aware of? It just looked like it's going to be a pit stop. Yep, the car's being worked on. You know how quick this stop is.
I think this is just tyres, and is it still medium? No, it's still medium. Okay, this is strange.
I wonder why he decided to come in then, because it definitely didn't seem like damage was repaired. It's a very quick stop. I mean, to be fair, Knežević hasn't actually lost anything from that, considering the only person behind him was Carpetta, and they are 5 laps down. So he's not lost anything. How long was... I don't think Knežević was on those mediums for that long, so I wonder why he's just decided to change onto them a new set. I don't think his mediums that he was on were that old to begin with.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him in the pits, but I think we have missed half of the pit stops that were happening today because there is some drivers with 6 pit stops already. So Yeah, hard to tell when his last pit stop were. Usually we keep track of that and have a sheet where we fill out who was in at which lap and on which tires they changed on. But today, with all of that pit stops happening, it was impossible for us to keep that list up to date. So it might just be that he decided to be on very, very fresh rubber right now because it didn't cost him anything, as you rightfully pointed out, Ash. So yeah, maybe he just wanted to get very, very fresh rubber.
Absolutely. There's been something to look at pretty much every lap this race, taking all of our attention. And we're about to have something else to look at now. Pascal Poland's in sector 3. When's he going to go? Hammer down. Coming just out of turn 14, and he's absolutely ditched them, and it looks like Fragoto's getting swallowed up immediately. He's going to try and hold on. Pushka's on the attack. Poland is away clear. Perfectly managed restart. Fragoto breaks deep, but unfortunately it's going to send him wide. But he's stuck between Meshida, and now Meshida's now stuck behind Fragoto. This is going to be a perfect chance for the front three to get away. And Meshida is now going to be desperate to get past round. Can he get around the outside of the Interlagos? He does. Move done. And as you rightly predicted, Robin, moving chicane, Gustavo Fragoto, he's going to just... yeah, he's going to struggle getting those tyres to work now. But he's through. He's got Remco de Zoo right behind him now. But perfectly judged restart by Pascal Polands. Can Pushka and Meshida make inroads into that? But we've got a big fight in the middle. Oh, contact there. Lucas Murno with Philip Feckler. Feckler's off. Murno in the meantime at the inside of Curtis. Another very well choreographed switch, and Murno back into 8th place, into the points, looking to get ahead. Oh my word, how has he held on there? We've got Fragoto off the road now, just trying to get out of the way. And we've had a warning for Benson Reader for an incident in the first corner. We'll go back to that in a second. In the meantime, Pascal Poland's a 1:11. The track is incredibly dry now. And Pushka's having to fight off Walborn. Meshida now fighting to try and join this battle. Walborn looking desperate to get past it at the minute. He's going to have to go defensive. Remco de Zoo in the meantime. Oh, we've got a three-way fight back here. And we've got Yunt, and Knezovic is in amongst it as well, seemingly. Now, Pushka has held off Walborn, and that'll be a very welcome sight to Ruben Meshida, who's now just steaming up them. And we've got a three-way fight for second. In the meantime, Pascal Poland's happily opening out the gap in clear air.
Yeah, Walborn will also be quite pleased that Pushka is doing his job right now in holding back, well, himself and Ruben Meshida.
And this is a big exit out of Junkao now. Power down. In the meantime, Remco de Zoo trying to make a move on Murno.
Murno moved up on him. Murno, since the restart, I think he has made up 5 places. Fantastic restart for him in his home race here.
On the medium tires, we've heard nothing of the contact between him and Feckler, so he seems to have gotten away with that one. Oh my word, and in the meantime, he's having to try and go defensive. Got Yunt and de Zoo behind. Yunt going wheel to wheel. Oh, Yunt, how they've managed to keep it going there, but de Zoo holding on. In the meantime, these three line of stern, Pushka, Walborn, Meshida. Pushka hanging on. Meshida's going to be getting onto the attack now. Oh, Pushka. Oh my lord. He's just faking us out now with that. With a man who's had 2 disconnects in the last 2 races he's participated in. Please not a third one. He's having another fine afternoon. Stay in the fight to the end, Philip. We'd love to see you, because vital. 3 drivers fighting for second in the Drivers' Championship in the top 4 at the minute. Head down. Main straight once again. No one seeming quite close enough to make a move yet. They're hoping that the super softs will give them the grip advantage. Unfortunately, getting caught behind Gustavo Fragoto, who's in the pits now. Change off those inters. It looks like he's going to switch on to the mediums. And Walborn not quite close enough to Philip Pushka.
Pushka is catching up to Poland once again. The gap is now only 1.7 seconds. That was above 2 seconds a lap ago. So, is that Pushka back in the lead? No, back into second. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Getting some odd connection issues. And as is pointed out, we've literally just reached the halfway point. We've had enough action in the first half of that race to fill a full 70-lap race at Interlagos. And I think we're only just getting into the real fight at the front now. And as you say, the gaps seems to continually be coming down. But this is the strongest part of the track for Yannis Volborn. Really reel in DRS and push to pass, options of attack and indeed defence. Past Poland with another fastest lap. Philip Pushka safe for this lap. In the meantime, Ruben Meshida, gap almost a second between him and Volborn, seems to be dropping away. And in fact, there's a brilliant run down the Retroposter here. A chance for Yannis Volborn round the outside of Interlagos. They go side by side. Volborn sweeps round. An excellent move. And Yannis Volborn is up to make it a Holland Racing Team 1-2. Poland's leading from his teammate. Pushka couldn't get clear. And wow, Meshida's run wide there into turn 7 quite a few times. Guessing he's not getting penalised for it, but I just would keep an eye on that. That's carrying quite a lot of speed through, but immediately Meshida onto the back of Pushka. So, how quickly can Ruben Meshida get past Pushka? But right behind him through Junkao. Past the detection zone, and DRS open now, but obviously Pushka will have DRS as well. Will Meshida look into the center S? Not this time. Maybe if you can get the good exit here. He seems to have a better line on the exit of the center S, and in fact that's perfect. And this could be a complete carbon copy of the move of the lap before. Which way is Pushka going to go? Again to the inside.
But they're both having DRS, so this is a bit harder than it was for Volborn last lap. And oh!
And Volborn here pulling a Carlos Sainz-style move in Singapore. He is now able to give the DRS to Philip Pushka to help him defend against Ruben Meshida. So this could be a perfect little bit of defence from Yannis Volborn. And all the while, Pascal Poland's now 3 seconds clear. What a wingman Yannis Volborn is this afternoon. Cow again. Oh, down. Not the best exit there from Meshida. We've been on board with Philip Pushka, who must be some connection issues. Thankfully, it's enough to keep him going. Pascal Poland's now 1 minute 9.5, fastest man on track.
That is around the pole time, I think, that Meshida said. I think this also was 1:09.5. Of course, on much less fuel right now. But yeah, still the track is now very, very dry as it seems.
Very much expect those times to continue to drop, especially as the track dries. But Yannis Volborn clear road ahead, and Pascal Polands is just running free ahead. Philip Pushka faking us all out. So yeah, so we're not sure what the final warning was for Benton Reader, but currently running in 9th. Murno definitely nothing said about the contact between him and Fekler, and Murno's restart incredible up to 5th. Remco de Zeeuw has managed to move clear of David Yunt, and at the minute it is a double points finish for Infernal Void if Aaron Curtis can stay 8th, but Benton Reader is going to be hunting down 2 teams fighting for that 6th place in the Constructors. Minute it is Better Julia, SCMO and Scuderia Cesario. Better Julia will look to try and get a point. At the minute, SCMM are holding on to 6th place despite not scoring themselves. Knezovic still a lap down. It says on your time screen there that Frigoto is still in the pits. He's not. As far as we can tell, he is back out and running in 11th.
That's a move by Ruben Meshida now. Not quite.
Oh, he's got it done now. Oh, but he's going to move to the inside, but Meshida blocks it off.
Yeah, this time he was aware of it. That, I think, was the move that Woolborn did a few laps earlier when Measured was just past him, exactly at that corner. He then stuck his nose down the inside and still came out on top of Ruben Meschede. And now I think this is going to be a bit more interesting because we know, and we have seen that in Monza, that on a straight line, at least with the help of DRS, Optimal is able to attack. Holland Racing Team, okay, luckily that was another connection issue for Philip Puchka, and he did not take out. Oh, what's that?
Is that a better Julia? That's Carpetta with no rear wing by the looks of it. Are they going to try and keep going, or are they going to try and pull off the road? The minute they are trying to keep going out Interlagos, so we're going to have a bit of a rolling yellow flag. Oh, and Carpetta's round. Have a replay, and this is what happened to Carpetta. So into the center S. Beyond power from the exit. Oh, just carrying a bit too much speed onto the curb. Oof, and a big hit there. We will see if Carpetta can keep it going. We'll also try and bring you a replay of the move that Meschede made. A fantastic move it was as well. But at the minute, Yanis Volborn holding on.
Oh.
And we have a slow zone. So that is what you would know as a virtual safety car. It means everyone is now on the limiter. Code 80 kilometers an hour. So all the leaders have just gone past the pits. So if anyone was thinking of a stop, they've just missed the opportunity to do so. We're on lap 41 of 70. I don't necessarily think there would be any benefit. Anyway, Yunt has gone for it. So not sure if from here this would be a stop that would get you to the end of the race, but a couple of cars are risking it. Curtis is in, Knezovic is in. And why not get some fresh rubber on when you will lose out slightly less time?
Yeah, it's not even you can get it's pretty much essentially really a free pit stop because everyone here has to be on the pit limiter, so they are going pit lane speeds at one point or another. And the pit lane here is also a quite short pit lane. You maybe even be able to cut a bit of that track, and you get fresh rubber. So essentially, the time that you're losing is just the time that you stand in your pit box. So the few seconds that it takes to change tires is everything that you lose. So yeah, I think for everyone that passes the pit lane now, this is pretty much a no-brainer.
Now, what is very interesting is look at the gap between Poland and Melbourne. That's Goto now with a penalty. I imagine that might be pit lane related again, but that gap has gone up massively. Now, it does seem to be dropping slightly. We had this issue back in Monza, where Volborn used the clutch, I believe, to slow down.
Yeah, it was the clutch.
And you're not supposed to. You're supposed to just get on the brakes and steadily. Or was it the fact you can use the clutch, but he was just rolling it in neutral to gain an advantage?
No. So you have to press the pit limiter. No need to use the brakes or downshift or anything, but you can't pull the clutch because that will make the slowing down process a lot. You're going faster for longer, and that was what Woolborn did. He was not aware of that, so I think Pascal now should be aware of it.
I just because it was the gap was only like 5 seconds when that was shut, and it was suddenly up to 14, and obviously now everyone's going in the pits, but that gap has gone up quite extensively. So I don't know. We'll see that. This is going to be the move, and what a move this was. Ruben Meschede struggling to try and get past Philip Puchka, and on the run into turn 8, just up the inside, late brakes, and a very tidy move, having to keep it wide through turn 9. And manages to get the power down, and on the inside for 8, positions the car well, stops a return move. An excellent work there from Ruben Meschede.
Yeah, that was really a fantastic move. I think what preceded this was Pushka running a bit wide over the crest there. We couldn't really see that from this perspective. But yeah, ever so slightly. The one moment that you make a mistake, Reuven just took advantage of that. He's now up to third. The gap is now reinstated between Poland and Woolborn. That's interesting. Back to now it's 9 seconds again. Okay.
Yeah, that's gone up quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that was something we were discussing in that race in Monza, in that incident with Yannis Woolborn as well. It might, of course, you can, of course, give him the benefit of the doubt. It might, of course, happen if you are pushing the pit limiter at full speed, just on the main straight.
Yeah.
Then it takes a lot longer to slow down.
And Bar Carpetta in the chat with us. Engine blew up while trying to get it back to the pit lane for repair, so that is what has caused the slow zone you're witnessing now. Everyone getting in the pits and getting some fresh tyres on. Wait, call from race control. Go again.
But this is very odd. Now the gap was just up to 15 seconds for a few seconds here. Now it's back to 11.
Is the timing board being influenced just by the relative speed? But
yeah.
I think you'd imagine, because race control were right on it when Woolborn accidentally kind of broke the rules on that one. So you imagine that if the relative distance at least is the same, there shouldn't be an issue. But there hasn't been any call, so you'd imagine it's no issues have been done there. So we'll see. It might just be all suddenly goes back down to like 4 or 5 seconds once we go green again.
Benton Reader just passed Fekela. Fekela, okay, Frigoto as well. So
interesting. So why that is?
Could of course be something with exiting the pit lane. Some cars that.
And we are now back green racing again, lap 43 of 70. And everyone on the accelerator at the same time. And we have now seen a drive-through penalty for Gustavo Frigoto going too fast during the slow zone. So that's really going to hurt Gustavo. Outside chance of points now going away, and he was running second before as well and running so well in the early phase, just made the wrong call on the tyres, and now that drive-through is going to put him way off the back of Philip Fekler. So he's going to struggle to even get in the top 10 now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think what is especially tough for him to take is that he was second on merit. I think he did as well go into the pit lane to stop for that fresh set of intermediates. So yeah, he could have been fighting for a podium here. Now it will be lucky if he'll finish in the top 8 here.
Now Reuven Meshida, DRS on the back, and sunshine in Interlagos for the first time this afternoon. The sun has come out from behind the clouds, and the track going to be very much drying up now. Can Reuven Meshida, in these conditions, make a move on Yannis Woolborn? DRS down, the Retroposter. Not close enough this time. We've just been mentioned in the chat. Fekler did not hear the slow zone call, which is why he ended up ahead of Benton Reader and Frigoto, so I think that's why he had to give those places back. So Fekler now running in 10th. If anything happens ahead, still an outside chance for Kostek's first point of the season. The minute he is 9 seconds back from the points, or about 10 actually, of Aaron Curtis. This is the big fight now. Reuven Meshida, Yannis Woolborn. Can Meshida get past Woolborn and do anything eat into that lead of past Poland's. Poland's now, though, with a 1 minute 8.5. Poland's has been on incredible form. We were saying last week how mad it was that he's performed so well throughout the season but had yet to win a race, and by the end of today he could have won the last 2 back-to-back as Lucas Murno suddenly with the fastest lap. The track is definitely coming alive now. So Meshid is still not quite close enough. Gonna follow through this middle sector through turns 6 and 7. Much tidier on the inside, runs out a little bit wide to then get the angle into 8. Down to second gear, blip up to third. Moves through turn 9. Turn 10, Bico Di Pato. Lovely little camber corner there, just angling it through and then towards the last big braking zone on the lap. Junkau doesn't get the best momentum through it, and Volborn is able to get the power on earlier and will probably hang on for another lap. In the meantime, Poland's bettering the fastest lap by another 0.2 of a second. Across the line we go. Obviously, you won't be able to see it now, but it's going to be Volborn from Meshta, from Pushka, from Murno. There's going to be a line of 4 cars now, and Murno clearly looking quick.
Yeah, indeed. Pushka, in the meantime, unfortunately dropped a little bit back from Meshta, so he's outside of that DRS window now.
2 fastest people on track are the 2 Holland Racing Team cars. The 3rd fastest is Lucas Murno. Still seeing if there's a chance, an outside chance of a podium for him in his home race this afternoon. Through Junkau we go once again. Can Ruhan Meshida make something happen? Still within DRS range, only just though. DRS comes open. Quite close enough this time. Minute Yanis Volborn has doing everything he has to help his teammate try and secure second in the championship. Also, a big shout out to Remco de Zeeuw, who's running in 6th at the minute. Had only driven 2 races previously for Optimal Esports, and both finishing outside the points. At the minute, has been on dry tyres all afternoon despite the weather, and currently fighting for points. He's got David Yunt up behind him, but it could be another double points finish for Optimal this afternoon. But this is the man who is trying to secure a 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship for himself, despite missing the first 4 rounds of the championship. Meshida with the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 8.2, a 10th faster than both the Holland Racing Team cars. Finally starting to find some momentum here, Meshida. A lot closer this time around, but certainly not close enough to look into the Interlagos. In the meantime, Remco de Zeeuw is apparently going in the pits.
Oh, and let me guess what tire it will be.
He comes out on wet tyres now, I will lose my mind.
Oh, it's mediums.
Oh. So that must be a stop now for try and get to the end of the race from here, I imagine. Assuming that it remains dry to the end of the race, the sun is shining, so it seems like a fair shout at this point. So Remco, I imagine, hoping to run those mediums to the end.
And that once again puts a Kostek into P9. Philip Fekela, they have been running in P9 for so many laps today. It would be such a shame if they can't just go one better to finally get that first point. This is the best chance of the season, I think, for them. But it takes one car to fall out or drop out of the points now for that to happen.
see what happens. There is always a chance of the weather turning again, and there is at least another round of stops. We're looking to go 22 laps on those mediums now, Remco de Zeeuw. In the meantime, Lucas Murno, that incredible restart from him. Just over a second behind Philip Puška, just trying to work himself into DRS range. Been another fine drive this afternoon from Lucas Murno.
Yeah, he has been incredibly consistent, and he is the surprise of the season. Like before the season, we got a sheet with information about the drivers and what to expect from them, and yeah, Lucas Murno, there was not much information about him. And since Bahrain, he has scored in every single race that he participated in. And, well, that was every race. So, and it is always about that P5-ish. He also had a podium finish in Spa-Francorchamps, I think it was. So, yeah, he's definitely the positive surprise of this season. And he might be, maybe even be able to fight for the podium here, depending on how the rest of this race goes.
If he can stay where he is, he will take 5th place as well in the driver's standings. He only needs a couple of points to be able to do that. At the minute, he is on for 4 points. He will also move Infernal Void Racing just 2 points behind Maniti. They are looking to try and overhaul them to finish 4th in the Constructors. So won't do that this afternoon, but we'll put him in a prime place to do so at the final round of the championship. But don't forget, actually, I'm forgetting, and that's very rude of me, Aaron Curtis, who is also in the points at the minute, scoring 2 points. So together, they will score 6 points, which means they will draw level with Maniti Racing. So I imagine it will be then on count back. I think Maniti would still have the lead, but there's still one more round for them just to get that all-important single point. Take 4th in the Constructors, so it's all coming together for Infernal Void Racing for a top 4 in the championship.
Yeah, this will also be the best finish. Oh, and Remco de Zeeuw just moved past Philip Fekela, but Fekela having a little look down the inside, a large look down the inside there. Ooh. Well, Remco just holds on to 9th. And I think now he will be able to pull away. There might be one last chance for Philip on the Retro Posta. He can open the rear wing now. But yeah, backs out of it.
Fair play to Philip. He didn't give that up lightly, did he? But avoiding contact, and through we go, and Meshed is still not quite close. Notably there, as we kind of come through the center S, the sun disappearing behind a cloud. So we'll keep an eye on that. Dallas Cativo in chat, good afternoon. Yeah, very interested to see what Murno can do in Cesario next year. Cesario very much improved. They had a good, solid race last time out. If it wasn't for Knezevic's disconnect at the start of the race, they would be firmly up in the points. And it's great to see that, Knezevic still only 30-odd seconds now behind the top 10. So if he's able to recover from being a lap down after disconnect and still finish in the top 10, that would be an incredible achievement.
Yeah, don't forget he was even 2 laps down. He joined that race in lap 3 only.
Oh, correct, yes.
He gained 1 lap, of course, with the safety car. He was able to unlap himself once, but yeah. Oh, and now it's really getting darker and darker now. Look at that, once again, clouds.
Might be another twist here as Lucas Murno getting closer and closer. If he can angle himself to get a good exit from the center S, I think Philip Puška might just have got the better exit there. Lucas Murno slowly in there. He's well within half a second. If he can have a tidy lap now, there might be an opportunity. Oh, a little bit caught on the curb, bit of a squirm through to Interlagos. There's only 3/10 between Meshed and Volborn. Around a second. Puška Photo. Having served that drive-by penalty, DRS open. Go to a top 10 of Vettel now, unfortunately. Dropping back. Roto still trying to see what to make happen after being so high in the early stages. Might be praying, might be doing a little rain dance in the car. Seeing the sun disappear just for another roll of the dice. In the meantime, measured at 3/10. It just seems like it's a force field around Yannis Volborn. You just can't seem to get any closer. And considering how good the optimal car is through the corners, at the minute it seems like Volborn is just being able to get the power down through the center S is much better. And keep Messenger away. It might have to be like trying to catch him unawares into maybe turn 8 or turn 10 potentially. Because at the usual places with RS, it's just not enough.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. I talked with Ruben before the race, and he was very confident about these last two races, that he will be able to beat the two Holland Racing Team guys, because the tracks should rather suit the Optimal than the HRT. But in the end, he's really struggling to get by Yannis Volborn, and as you rightfully pointed out, that is not only down to straight line speed here today.
So DRS is open, gap is only 3/10, it's very close, he has a little look. Now it is about how he can get the power down from the center S. And it just doesn't, he lost 3/10 through the center S. I wonder if the super softs are starting to come away from him, and obviously, you know, oh, actually, is he on the super softs?
No,
Sorry,
he changed when
had switched, hadn't he?
slow zone.
Oh, so they're on the same sort of.
Pits.
Yes, they're on the same age old mediums. So yeah, very interesting how he's not able to stick with it. It's dirty air. It's the only thing I can think of. I'm not sure. Yeah, Ruben Meshida just cannot seem to find a way through. And it's frustrating because he, pole position, another pole position today, looked very quick. We expected him to have a strong afternoon. And, I'd agree with his assessment that these two tracks, Interlagos and Suzuka, absolutely lean towards the strengths of Optimal Esports. In fact, I would say Suzuka even more so. Very downforce heavy track. In the meantime, though, DRS is open. And he just runs out of straight once again. Philip Pushka, though, is in the pits. So this might be pulling the trigger on what will hopefully be the set of dry tyres that takes them to the end if there is no more rain. Another lap goes by, and another lap where Yannis Volborn remains in second place. Looks like Philip Pushka has stayed on the mediums. Teammate David Yunt up into fifth, considering he didn't participate in qualifying. David Yunt having a very, very solid afternoon. But obviously we expect him to need to stop again as well. Comes out only a second behind his teammate, so I imagine there being a switchback very quickly. Again, on the exit from Junkao, it just seems like Yannis Volborn has been able to get the power down a little bit earlier, and the gap's only half a second, but it just won't come down quick enough. Here is Pushka, though, up to teammate David Yunt. And the important thing for him is to make sure he stays ahead of Lucas Murno. And obviously, if his tyres are fresher, he might be able to shut the gap to Meshida and Volborn, as they are indeed fighting each other. And that is a very nicely choreographed manoeuvre. Philip Pushka up into fifth. David Yunt not holding up his teammate at all there.
And I think this is now a bit of a crucial point in this race as it gets darker and darker now. It really looks like it's about to rain in a few seconds. But I wonder if the others at the front are still planning to do another pit stop, because Pushkin now sort of set them under pressure to make their pit stop now, if they want to come in once more. But I imagine they might even try to go to the end. It's only 12 laps as they cross the line now.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
There is still obviously sun over there.
Oh yeah, it just came out again. So yeah, very, very changing conditions. Now it's very light again. Okay.
So, I imagine that might be a good call from Pushka. I feel like the tyres will be quite old after the end of that slow zone. So it might be a good call. Pushka might be able to charge them down on fresh rubber. But then again, if there is a suspicion of rain, are these guys going to try and stay out to avoid doing an unnecessary stop for dry tyres and just switch straight onto wets? Now, it's interesting. The radar is saying 5%
Okay.
rain. But as that has changed, as you can see, the sun is out again. So, I'm not sure. We will keep an eye on that. Now, going on board with Reuven Meshida. Only 4/10 away this time, a little bit closer. DRS will open. Both have push to pass. Again, not close enough. So, can he set himself up for the exit? Oh, he's had to go deep. And as he goes through there, the sun disappears. Going to be a lot of second guessing about what's happening here with the weather. But the question is, will it come out at a point where it will require the need? It just seemed like every turn we're getting like a little bit of sun and then going behind the clouds.
It's almost like on the Nürburgring, which is known for having different parts of weather on different parts of the track. Well, now it's dark again.
Now it's dark again. Is it raining? It might be raining again with just over 10 laps to go.
But so far it only seems to be a light drizzle. I think nowhere near enough to get someone back on the Inters, but that can change quite quickly, as it did at the beginning of this race. Sorry. But on the other hand, looking at the strategy of Philip Pushka, with 10 laps to go now, he needs to be 2 seconds quicker per lap to catch up to the front to make his strategy work, and of course, for the track to remain dry. And right now, that is not the case. His last lap time was a 1:8.5. Pascal Poland's at the front, 1:9.4. So this is not quick enough.
If it does start to rain, and indeed heavy, there is another opportunity for people who, are in a position to roll the dice to again risk the switch to Inters early. The question is, with, time is running out, will the track be effective enough to the point where actually they might just be okay to stay on the tyres they're on to the end? Notably, Alexander Knežević is past Philip Fekler. He is now into 11th. A hell of a recovery from Knežević.
And so to extend from that point that you just made, with time running out to even benefit for a switch on the Inters, we have seen how long it took for the Inters to become the faster tire, actually, because Reuven Meshida, he was still leading this race for a lot of laps until Poland's caught up to him. So I think even if it did really come down now, it will take a few laps for the Inter switch to become viable.
It would have to be the sort of downpour that we saw at the end of the 2008 season that changed it so drastically. It would have to be not just like build, it would have to just suddenly start throwing it down, I think, for it to really cause problems for people. I think these guys at the front seem comfortable enough to run on their dry tyres to the end at this rate. And, it says rain 5%, but at the minute it's still not particularly visible and it still seems dry enough. They're still attacking their curbs. Meshida still right behind. He's very good exit from there. He's only 2/10 away.
Oh, this might be the opportunity now.
This could be good. Is he going to try and step out? No, the straight line speed of Yanis Volborn's Holland Racing Team car, but he's got a good exit from the Cedar de Lago. Might be a chance up the hill, and now we can see the rain. Oh, is there another final twist?
Oh,
In the meantime,
the
Meshida
outside.
to the outside. Oh, but he's blocked off. He's going to try and keep it in there. Is he going to switch to the inside for turn 10? They go side by side. He's on the outside for turn 10. And they hold on again, and now this is the opportunity.
Is a good opportunity. He is on the inside now. Can he hold on to it is the critical point here.
Can he outbrake? Oh, he makes sure that Volborn leaves in the room. But he's going to be closer than ever.
DRS.
This
That's
has
going
to
to be it.
Yeah, absolutely. DRS is open. There's only a 2/10 between them. Where does Yanis Volborn go as they head into the center S? Meshed to the outside. It's still not enough. They hang on again, but now, surely now, power down. Meshida tucked right up under the rear wing of Yanis Volborn. DRS open again. Where is Volborn going to put the car? He goes defensive. And Volborn's still hanging on. This is an incredible bit of defense from Yanis Volborn. And they've just been trading racing lines for almost a lap now.
This is brilliant defending by Volborn.
And look who's joining the party. Lucas Murdo's now coming because they're fighting each other that much. Into turn 10. Again, he's going to try to send it around the outside. He's not got enough. So he goes to the other way. He's climbing all over the back of the Holland Racing Team car. Exit from Zhengzhou. Only 3/10 between them. Up to the DRS line again. What an incredible, breathless couple of laps. Is there going to be a look into the center S? Not this time, but there's going to be another DRS zone down to Cedar de Lago. Decent exit. But has Volborn done enough to weather the storm? Only 3/10 between them. Murno right behind. As is pointed out, Benton Reader is now only 3/10 away from Curtis. Remco de Zeeuw hasn't been able to make things work in this final stint, falling out of the points. But that's all together. It's basically pushing him through the corner there. And Murno is going to be surely looking for an opportunity here. Up and 10.
Oh, this is it.
On the inside, heavy on the brakes. He's on the inside of Volborn. But again, Volborn is still ahead. How is he doing this? And out the exit, and there's a gap of 4/10 on the exit of Zhengzhou, and now Murno is closer to Meshida than Meshida is to Volborn. And now Meshida might have to go defensive. And here we go. And it's a little bit of a tuck out, and they go through, but Murno is going to be in a good position, but I don't think he's quite got the exit.
This, by the way, is very crucial, this fight here for P2 in the championship, because as it stands right now, Poland would have a 9 points lead over Meshida in P2.
And
so
Benton Reader is past Curtis as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, Curtis might have another chance here.
He's managed to get the move done into Zhengzhou by the looks of it, but DRS back. Oh, and the rain is starting to come down now as the sun shines. Of course it does. Incredible. What an incredible race we are witnessing in Interlagos. Oh, they're all together again. And now it's a poor exit from that corner from Meshida and Murno. Murno's looking more likely of getting past Meshida. We go on board, past the DRS activation line. Meshida's got DRS 2. Murno forcing him to the inside. Can he hang it round into the center S? Lock up as we go in. Not quite enough. And Meshida manages to scamper clear. A big let-off in the meantime. Yanis Volborn just trying to get out of the DRS range as Meshida fights. No, Benton Reader looking to come back against Curtis. We've got these three, and here is Benton Reader. Across the start-finish line.
is there as well.
Fighting over the last 2 points paying positions. Benton Reader out from behind Curtis. Deziu is just going to wait. Benton Reader goes deep and round. Beautifully done there from Benton Reader. Now Remco Deziu surely going to look at Curtis, but is Curtis going to be able to come back? Now the DRS is all change. And immediately Benton Reader going defensive. Oh, a big switch of position there from Curtis. Curtis to the inside, into the Interlagos, and there's contact! Oh! And basically, Curtis tipped by one car and then back on the road by the other. Benton Reader slowing down, I think, very sportsmanly. And they basically just all hold position. And I think they might continue without any further action there. Because that, fortunately, did ruin that fight. So they're going to keep going. In the meantime, Meshida crawling all over the back of Volborn. There is no time to breathe. DRS open for Meshida. He's incredibly close. Only a 10th. What way's Volborn going to go? Volborn to the inside. They bang wheels, but they're okay. They keep going. Murno just waiting in the background. Oh, having a bit of a slide off the curb. It's getting wetter. And up the hill into turn 6 and 7. In the meantime, Deziu has gotten past Curtis in the background. My word.
Oh, is Curtis out?
Is Curtis in the wall? Oh no, we've lost Aaron Curtis at the very end. We'll get a replay of that for you in just a second whenever we can have spare a moment to look away. We might be doing a bit of post-race replays at this rate. Oh my goodness.
Because they won't stop in these last 3 laps now. Ruven now again a bit further away from Volborn. This might be another opportunity for Murno.
And he's incredibly close once again. Can he make it stick? Which way is he going to go? Is he going to go to the outside again? He is. But Meshida just managed to hold it. They go side by side, but Murno's kept his nose in there. Very good. Oh, but Meshida just enough there. And now Volborn vitally is over a second away, which means there's no DRS to defend. Will Murno come back? It's another opportunity into the Interlagos, but he doesn't look at it. And now Ruben Meshida has really got to try and do the best that he can. Less than 3 laps to go. And the gap is 1.3 to Yanis Volborn. Yanis Volborn, some incredible defensive work from him this afternoon to keep Ruben Meshida behind at moments where we thought this is it, surely. He's held him off. We do get a moment to breathe. And this is what happened to Aaron Curtis. So Remco Deziu. Oh, he's nowhere near. Oh. That's a technical issue, unfortunately. Oh, that's such a shame for Aaron Curtis. Such a fine afternoon for them.
They were on the way to the highest finish ever in 7th. But
Perfect chance for a double points finish for Infernal Void. So that does mean that Better Julia will score a vital couple of points. It's going to be a double points finish for Optiminal. Deziu and Benton Reader currently fighting over 7th. We'll see if Deziu can get past that. But in the meantime, Volborn has been able to keep Meshida out of DRS range, and he's been able to just pull a little gap on Murno as well.
Yeah, and who would have thought that? Because when it started to rain again, it was like it looked like Volborn was a lot slower than Meshida and Murno, struggling a lot more than these two. But apparently, it looks like he's now going to secure that 2nd spot, and this is the only actual on-track battle that we have now.
They are going to have to be careful now. Rain is up 15%. You can visibly see the puddles once again. It's almost like we are going to be in the similar sort of conditions that we started the race in to end them. Now, can Remco Deziu make a move? He's only 2/10 away, but fails out of it. No one has switched. Oh, Deziu sideways. And that's going to ruin his opportunity. He needs to keep it going. Fragoto's not that far behind. But he's back up and running again. The gap's still 9 seconds. Unfortunately, that has ruined his opportunity. As you see Pascal Poland starting lap 70. And can we just speak of how well he's performed this afternoon? He got the perfect start. Oh, and it's a computer freeze Aaron Curtis. That is such a shame, having such a good afternoon. Yeah, Pascal Polens, what a fine afternoon he has had. The perfect start, then has just controlled the race perfectly. Yes, he's had some help from his teammate doing some epic defending behind him, but pace-wise, he has been absolutely fantastic. Before the last race, he hadn't won all season. Now he's won 2 in a row and is on the verge of second place in the Drivers' Championship. Congratulations, it's a win for Pascal Polens. What a fantastic drive from him. In the meantime, Yannis Volborn, he seems to have done enough now. The gap up to 2 seconds. The rain coming down now, but it's not enough to cause any problems. It's going to be a 1-2 for Holland Racing Team. Fantastic afternoon for them once again. Ruben Meshida, after qualifying on pole, jumped at the start, comes home third. Incredible defence from Yannis Volborn to keep behind. Lucas Murno, 4th place. That puts him up to 5th in the driver's standings and puts Infernal Void with a big chance of 4th in the constructors. Philip Pushka comes across the line to finish 5th. And we're just waiting now for David Yunt. Going to be a double points finish for Epic Basilia. 5th and 6th. Fine work. And considering Yunt started at the very back after not taking part in qualifying, that's been an excellent drive from him this afternoon.
Yeah, well done. And this is also David Yunt's first points finish of the season.
That's fantastic. In the meantime, Daniel Benton-Reader for Better Julia across the line. Another couple of points for them. Just trying to shut the gap to SCMM. The gap now down to 3 points between them and SCMM coming into the final race of the season. Still a chance at them. 6th. In the meantime, Remco Desu, his first point of the season.
Oh, that's a donut gone wrong.
Pascal Polens now into celebration mode. But what an incredible
He's
afternoon.
drifting it around the course. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. I'm going to try and get Pascal in once he's done messing around in the wet.
That's how Daniel Benton-Reader did the entire race in Kyalami, I think.
That was.
Oh no. Yeah, this maybe we can talk about as we wait for Pascal to get with us for a post-race interview. Pascal is now 9 points ahead of Ruben Meshida, sitting in P2. So that requires Meshida to win in Suzuka, while Poland's can't finish higher than 8th. So yeah, just scoring points is enough for Pascal. Just scoring 2 points actually is enough for Pascal, because Ruben would still win on countback.
Indeed, and these are the provisional results from round 14. Pascal Polens and Yannis Volborn. It's a 1-2 for Holland Racing Team. After it looked like Optimal and Ruben Meshida had the edge, it's been a fine performance. One of just race management and then the other for defence. Absolutely incredible work. And let's not forget Yannis Volborn also had a drive-through penalty as well. Ruben Meshida, that early risk to try and go on wets didn't pay off, and he was just struggling, just couldn't get past Yannis Volborn. Lucas Murno coming home 4th. He, as mentioned, is now 5th in the driver's standings, and it moves them very close to taking 4th off Maniti, but the job not done. Epic Basilia, 5th and 6th, a good return for Philip Pushka. He did fake us out with a couple of fake disconnects, but he managed to stay through to the end. David Yunt scoring points for the first time this season. Daniel Benton-Reader 7th and Remco Desu in 8th, rounding out the points with Fragoto finishing 9th after running well in the early stages, but unfortunately being on the wrong tyre at the restart, and he sank very unfortunately from there. Alexander Knezovic, after the disconnect at the start of the race and then coming back in a couple of laps down, returns to finish 10th. Incredible work from him. Philip Feckler 11th, Costech still awaiting their first points. Aaron Curtis would have been on for points today if not for a PC freeze late in the race that takes them out. So finishing 12th, very disappointing. Carpetta home in 13th. Gativo 14th, Victor Bean 15th, and Maurizio Quercio on their debut disqualified. Still have no, it was so busy this afternoon, we still have no idea what that was for. But what a breathless afternoon. And we are now indeed joined by the race winner, Pascal Polens. Pascal, congratulations. You've said it a couple of times on stream already. Before last week, you'd yet to win a race, and now you've won the last two. Incredible work. It looked easy once you got the jump at the start. You seemed to manage the race very well and seemed very comfortable in these conditions.
Well, thank you first of all. I think we got some big help in terms of strategy from the Optimal team, because I think they were much quicker than we were today. But well, they just decided to do the opposite of us, basically. Yeah, I think if they would have done what we have done, well, they would have been in front of us. But yeah, I still take it.
Oh, absolutely. And it has to be said, though, you absolutely, both you and Yanis nailed the start as well. You just seem to get a really good launch off the line. Now, most people starting on the dry tyres, but in wet conditions, what was the grip like in those first few laps? Because obviously there were puddles everywhere, but it seemed like there was still plenty of grip in the dry tyres. Did it feel quite precarious, or was it quite comfortable to begin?
Well, it was actually quite comfortable. Yeah, didn't have too big of problems with the tires. Yeah, just during the race, when we stayed out as long as possible with the slick tire, it got a bit, tricky to say the least. But I think it was the same for everyone.
Absolutely. And, the only kind of real danger after that start was the restart, which I think you judged very well. I think it helped that you had Frigoto behind also on the wrong tyre at that point. Once you got out front, how much were you aware of the battle behind between Yanis and Reuven? Because they were fighting quite a lot. Was there much kind of feedback given to you on that, or were you just kind of alone focusing on your own thing?
We were definitely talking about what's happening with Giannis and Reuven. So I was aware that it was sometimes quite close, and well, sometimes I also had to be quiet so that Giannis could concentrate a bit. So yeah, I was quite aware of what's going on and how close it is, and yeah.
Definitely. And honestly, once the stream goes live afterwards, have a look back at some of the late race fight between Yanis, Lucas, and Reuven. Absolutely incredible defensive work there. It's you're going to enjoy watching that back, I'm sure. Now, it's a big result for you this afternoon. It puts you within touching distance of second in the Drivers' Championship. What do you feel your chances are like heading into Suzuka, a very downforce heavy track?
Well, in general, my chances to be second in the championship after Suzuka are greater than Reuven's, I guess. But as you said, the first sector especially is quite downforce heavy. But after the third sector, or in the third sector after Spoon, it's also quite a long straight that is flat out. So I think it's going to be quite similar to today, actually, in terms of pace from high downforce to low downforce cars.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we could be in for another treat of a race to finish off the season. Pascal, congratulations. A fantastic drive today. Very well done.
Thank you.
Right, Robin, have you had a chance to catch your breath after that? Because that might have been one of the most manic races of the season so far. That was insane.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to figure out who stopped and filling out our spreadsheet where we keep track of that. So I'm still in lap 20 or something. But yeah, jokes aside, what a fantastic race, especially the first half. It was really keeping us guessing what was going to happen next. And a fantastic race. And you can just hope that the last race in Suzuka will just be as exciting. And I think it will be.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And some fantastic driving and wheel-to-wheel action in the changeable conditions up and down the field. So a fantastic afternoon. And we have one more race to go. On the 12th of November, the inaugural WMSC season comes to an end in Suzuka. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us this afternoon. I hope you will join us one more time for the season finale. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you then.
Goodbye.